You ever meet someone who's so entitled, so obsessed with rules, but only their rules, that they end up creating a disaster for themselves? Well, let me tell you about the time our HOA president, the infamous Karen, tried to call 911 on my farm's water supply, without realizing that I was the one person in the entire county who could shut her down. Because she didn't know, I'm a state water inspector. And when she messed with me, she messed with the wrong man. I live on a piece of land right outside a suburban neighborhood. My property is technically farmland, but because it borders an HOA community, I deal with the occasional complaint from people who think they can control what happens beyond their little cul-de-sacs. And at the top of that list, Karen. She wasn't just on the HOA board. She was the self-proclaimed sheriff of the neighborhood. Clipboard in hand, phone always ready to dial 911, convinced that she had authority over everything within a 2-mile radius. At first, she just complained about normal things. My tractor being too noisy, my chickens being unsightly, even saying my rooster woke her up too early. But then, she found my water system. On my land, I have an irrigation setup, a series of pipes, pumps, and a storage tank that helps keep my crops watered. It's nothing flashy, just standard farm infrastructure. But to Karen, oh no, she thought it was some sort of illegal water operation. One afternoon, I was working on the irrigation valves when I heard someone yelling from across the fence. "Excuse me, what is this?" I looked over, and there she was, hands on hips, eyes wide like she just uncovered a crime scene. "It's my irrigation system," I said calmly. "Perfectly legal." She shook her head. "No, no, no. That looks like an unauthorized water line. You can't just steal water from the neighborhood." I almost laughed. "Karen, this is my farm. My water rights are separate from the HOA. Everything here is permitted and documented." But she didn't believe me. She actually pulled out her phone and said, "I'll be checking this with the county. Don't think you can get away with this." From that day on, Karen became obsessed with my water system. She'd show up at random hours, taking pictures of the pipes. She'd tell neighbors I was diverting their water. She even filed complaints with the HOA, despite the fact that my land wasn't even under HOA jurisdiction. But the real kicker? One morning, I saw her inside my property. That's right, she had climbed through a gap in the fence and was crouched next to my water tank, taking videos like she was working for CSI. "Hey!" I shouted. "Get off my land." She jumped back like she was caught stealing cookies. But instead of apologizing, she said, "This is evidence. You're in violation of water laws. When the county sees this, you're finished." I couldn't believe it. That's when I realized she wasn't just annoying. She was dangerous. Sure enough, a week later, I was out in the field when I saw flashing lights pulling up near the road. A sheriff's car. I walked over, and who do I see standing there? Karen, of course, waving her arms like she just solved a crime. "There he is," she shouted. "That man is stealing water. He's running an illegal system and draining the neighborhood's supply. Arrest him." The deputy looked confused. "Ma'am, calm down." "Sir, can you explain what's going on?" Before I could even answer, Karen kept going. "I called 911 because this is theft. He's endangering all of us. Shut it down now." The deputy sighed and turned to me. "Do you have documentation for your water setup?" That's when I smiled. You see, what Karen didn't know is that I'm not just a farmer. I also work for the state as a certified water inspector. My job is literally to inspect and regulate water systems to make sure everything is legal and safe. So I calmly pulled out my wallet and showed him my badge. "Not only is this system legal," I said, "but I'm the one who inspects systems like this for the state." And Karen here? She's been trespassing and making false reports. The deputy's eyes widened. He looked at my credentials, then at Karen, then back at me. "Is this true?" he asked her. Karen froze. She stammered, "He's lying. He forged that. There's no way." But the deputy cut her off. "Ma'am, making a false report to 911 is a serious offense. And if he really is a state inspector, you're in over your head. I pulled out the official paperwork for my farm's water rights and permits, handed them over, and let the deputy review them. He nodded. Everything checks out. Ma'am, you need to stop harassing this man. Karen's face turned beet red. She stomped her foot like a child. This isn't fair. He's hiding something. He has to be. But the deputy wasn't having it. He warned her that if she called 911 again without cause, she could face charges. Then he turned to me and said, "Sorry about the trouble, sir. Looks like you've got it all handled." After they left, I thought that would be the end of it. But Karen, oh no, she wasn't done. A few weeks later, the HOA announced a special meeting. The agenda? Water usage concerns. I decided to attend, just to see what she was up to. Sure enough, Karen stood at the front of the room, pointing at a slideshow of blurry photos she had taken of my irrigation pipes. "This man is stealing from all of us," she ranted. "He's draining our community dry. Look at this industrial setup. It's outrageous." The room was full of murmurs. Some people actually looked worried. That's when I stood up. "Excuse me," I said, walking to the front. "Since we're talking about water usage, maybe I should introduce myself properly." I held up my badge again. My name is Name, and I'm a state-certified water inspector. My farm's irrigation system is fully permitted, and I oversee water compliance for the entire county. Karen has been spreading false information. The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. I pulled out a stack of official documents, showing my permits and inspection logs. Everything is legal. The only person violating rules here is Karen, when she trespassed on my property and made false emergency calls. The murmurs turned into laughter and side comments. One neighbor even said, "So she called the cops on the water inspector? Oh, that's rich." Karen's face looked like it might explode. She tried to argue, but the HOA board had had enough. Within minutes, a motion was raised, and Karen was voted out as HOA president. After losing her title, Karen's power vanished overnight. No more threatening letters. No more late-night snooping. No more 911 calls. Neighbors stopped listening to her altogether. In fact, many came over to apologize to me for ever doubting. Some even thanked me for finally putting her in her place. As for Karen, she sulked around the neighborhood, avoiding eye contact, muttering to herself whenever she walked by my fence. But she never said another word about my water. So, what's the lesson here? It's simple. Don't mess with things you don't understand. Karen thought she was protecting the neighborhood. But really, she was just overstepping boundaries, spreading lies, and trying to control something that was never hers to control. She didn't realize the man she was targeting was the very person whose job it is to uphold the law she kept pretending to know. Her arrogance led to her downfall. And in the end, the water kept flowing, just like karma.